After months of waiting and surviving the drought of no Black Clover, the series has returned to us with 30 pages of Black Clover greatness, and if you're a fan of Luck and Magna, then this chapter probably is something you're loving, and if you aren't a fan of them, I still think we saw enough of them here out of these characters that they lived up to the enormous amount of screen time that they were given for their fight with Lucius. But this chapter isn't just a full-on brawl between Lucius versus Luck and Magna. It also continued to lay seeds for more plot points as we rush towards the climax of this war against the rogue Wizard King Lucius. As a reminder, Black Clover now runs in Jump Giga, so the chapters drop once every 3 months, but the increased quality of the art in this chapter makes this so much worth the wait, and knowing that he's going to get a full 3 months next time, it really has me hyped, because for a Jump Giga chapter, this was short. So with that being said, let's back things up and let's dive into the recap portion of the review so we can unpack everything that we got here. So we open up with the story continuing where it left off. Asta and Yuno are charging forward at Lucius, and we see the rival boost in full effect with these two as they move with unwavering spirits towards Lucius, with each of them declaring they're going to be the next Wizard King. And for Asta and Yuno, these next steps that they take, they're the most important ones, because the whole Clover Kingdom is watching. And as the old expression goes, in order to be the man, you gotta beat the man. However, Lucius is not going down without a fight. The man is clearly locked in and ready to defend his throne and title as the Wizard King. What starts out as a 2 versus 2 battle, Asta and Yuno versus the 2 clones of Lucius, it quickly becomes a handicap match, with Lucius sending 4 clones after Asta and Yuno, making them each fight 2 Lucius clones. And given how much we saw Yuno get pushed to his limits just fighting against 1 Lucius clone, we know that this battle is going to be something that absolutely pushes him. But that rival boost that Asta gives to Yuno should not be underestimated, particularly since Asta hasn't yet shared his anti-magic power with Yuno, which, as we'll see in a bit, that's another boost in power that is extremely significant, though it does have some risks. While Lucius declares that his army of angels and archangels and the 11 Lucius clones are more than enough to stomp out this resistance, we see Asta smiling, and the story transitions to a flashback where the Black Bulls, they all meet with Asta and Ichika after receiving Asta's anti-magic. When Asta introduces Ichika as being Yami's sister, the Black Bulls, they rightfully freak out, and we get a hilarious few interactions, like Luck immediately trying to get the vibe check by saying, hey, I think you're pretty strong, we need to fight after this. You got Finral trying to riz her up by saying, oh my god, you're so cute. But the one who takes the most interest in her is Noct, and this further plant seeds for Noct and Ichika to assist Yami in this battle with Morgan that is still currently ongoing. And the way that Ichika is looking at Noct does make me wonder, are we in for a plot twist with Noct? Now, Ichika explains to us that Asta has shared his anti-magic with them, which allows for them to use that power, but they need to be careful because there is a cost here. They can still use their normal magic powers alongside the anti-magic, but due to how it works, 1 or 2 big moves, it will rob them of the anti-magic power, and once it's gone, it is gone. So this was a good form of writing here, because it allows Tabata to associate some risk with using this power and keep it from breaking the power scaling too badly, because anti-magic is broken enough that if someone like Vanessa is suddenly able to start throwing hands with Lucius, in theory, the idea that there is a timer on it and that those who use anti-magic have to be smart with how they attack, because after they use it for 1 or 2 attacks, it's gone. That's a good safety measure that's being built in place here. Now, before we get into the battle with Luck and Magna versus Lucius, I do think it's very important to actually point out that Lucius said that there were 11 of him, but this feels like it's a bit disingenuous, because when we last saw Lucius spawn all these clones of him, we saw 12, and there was the main body of Lucius sitting high on that throne, and we also saw multiple other Lucius clones throughout the Clover Kingdom itself. So as we move forward into the story, we have to keep that number 11 in mind here, because Tabata, he's clearly cooking something up for a swerve related to this right now. It's just that we can't see it as where we are right now in the story. We see Luck use his swift Black Thunder demon spell to start wrecking the enemies in front of him with blinding speed, and once again, it's time time for me to go through and break my own heart and debunk my fellow Naruto fans who can't seem to grasp that for as amazing as Naruto is as a series, there are certain concepts that Masashi Kishimoto did not actually invent. First, we had it with Ryuya's eye. People said, oh, that's a Sharingan ripoff. And now we have Luck with these black balls floating behind him, and Naruto fans are screaming this is a ripoff of the truth-seeking orbs, when in reality it's them showing a lack of understanding of the very source material that Kishimoto takes inspiration from, that Tabata also takes inspiration from. Like a lot of Japanese mangaka also just happen to use Japanese references in their stories. It's kind of funny when you think about it. Japanese man draws a story for Japanese audiences that uses a ton of Japanese culture references, and the main people complaining about it are people in the West, which is fine. It's okay to be ignorant. It's not okay to be willfully ignorant. We all start ignorant with something. That's the whole reason why we learn. So Luck was always affiliated with Raijin, a Japanese deity associated with lightning, the very element that we associate with luck. In some of the photos, we see Raijin with circular objects floating behind him, oftentimes 9 or 10 of them, just as Naruto once had 9 truth-seeking orbs. Luck's character has also taken inspiration from parts of the Sugawara no Michizane's story, which for a time was known as one of the 3 vengeful ghosts of Japan, and depending on the artwork that you see, he actually has orbs floating behind him. The whole concept of floating orbs, it didn't start with Naruto, but now that we've blown up this whole Black Clover is fraud allegation, the fight that we see is actually really good. On one hand, Luck is destroying any and everything that gets in his way, but what we also see is that Lucius has taken note of Luck's potential, noting at the speed at which his toys are getting defeated is flat out impressive, and he flat out states that Luck is going to be a problem to deal with. It's then that Magna jumps in with the most clutch set of moves that we've seen him do so far, because he manages to ensnare Lucius and a couple of others in his Soul Chain death match. And as we saw when Magna fought against Dante, this magic's not to be underestimated because it's powerful enough to level the playing field for someone like Magna to take down Wizard King level fighters. Lucius, being the sharp guy that he is, immediately begins to take assessment of the situation, realizing that he's in trouble as his fight drags on. And when he realizes the anti-magic is not only affecting him, but it's slowing down his healing, he knows that 2 people who he probably considered to be fodder before actually stand a good chance of taking him down, because Luck and Magna, they're throwing those hands at him, and Lucius comes to the conclusion that what he needs to do is attempt to outlast them until their anti-magic wears off, which that's not a bad plan, but he's underestimating the chemistry of Luck and Magna and the rival boost, and the fact that they don't have to verbally speak their plan. They're just naturally in tune with each other. They take their remaining anti-magic and combine it for a giant combo attack that uses lightning and fire magic amped up by anti-magic to not only take down one of the Lucius clones that they're fighting, but they do him so dirty that they blow away his entire body from the neck down, which leads to Lucius being stunned at how much Asta has turned the tables. And you can tell that Lucius is already thinking, if Asta sharing his anti-magic got Magna and Luck to this level, what happens when he gets to someone like Noel or Yuno or Yami? Just the first 2 alone, that's a problem because they are at a Wizard King level, but Asta by himself is a walking game changer. You can bet that Lucius is kicking himself for not being absolutely certain that he killed Asta the first time, because this is a miscalculation he could not afford. Now, Tabata is clearly setting the stage for something else here regarding Asta. Between Zedden and the way that his anti-magic is being used and shown being compatible with other people's magic, where they can combine it for 1 or 2 big attacks, leads me to believe there's something else dormant inside of Asta we've not seen yet. Even more so because, as we saw with Asta's mother on the cover of the chapter and everyone else on the cover, they just happen to have important roles in the story in the battles that are up ahead. But we at least know that Adremlik is still being planned for something in the future. One, because Tabata told us as much months ago, and he's on the chapter cover, tucked away so small if you blink you miss him, but Asta's mom is shown prominently on that chapter cover. That's not by mistake. While this chapter did breeze by quickly, as a stand for art, I appreciate the improved art quality, and you can tell that Tabata has gotten some much needed rest to deal with his health issues and his family issues. While the next chapter won't be out for 3 months, I did think that this was an effective return, and given the pacing, I think we can put to bed all the fears people had that the manga was going to be sped up and end in 5 chapters, so ending in 2024. I think going at this pace, Black Clover is still going to be around for a while, and it will make that moment where Asta becomes Wizard King hit that much harder, which to see why Asta was always destined to be Wizard King and how every Wizard King in the story taught lessons to Asta on what it means to be a Wizard King, click here to watch my Wizard King Asta video, and be on the lookout for my Conrad and Noel Silva video essays that I will be dropping in 2024 while we wait for the next Black Clover chapter.